And here we are, A World Gone Mad, Season 2, Episode 61. After being sick these past few days, this is the first time I've done that in over a year, missing recording an episode. I'm back. I'm Jeff Allen Wolf, and I'm here to stay. And there's not one damn thing that will keep me from continuing to speak up against what's happening in the world today. You could join with me and tell everyone about the podcast, or do nothing. Your choice, but I'm not going anywhere. And I'm pissed off. I want to start this episode by clearing up one major thing about my podcast. I'm not here to provide everyone answers on what to do about the situation happening in America. That's not the purpose of this podcast. If I had all the answers, I'd be running for president or higher. Now, I have opinions like everyone else. I will do my best to provide those opinions and my suggestions on how to cope. My goal is to inform you what's happening in the world and politics. And if you learn something from that and will pass it on to others, then I've accomplished my goal. Another thing about my podcast is also not 15 to 20 minutes comprised of 6 minutes of CNN videos and sound clips, then 3 minutes of commercials in between, and then me talking in between all of that for maybe 2 or 3 minutes maximum. Anyone can do that in the podcast. That doesn't take talent. That's lazy. Now, some popular podcasts are doing that now. You know who you are. That's not me. If that's the type of podcast you like, great. Go listen to that podcast. Don't listen to mine. My podcast is me, 15 to 20 minutes, giving my opinions and sharing with you, the listener, information on what's happening. And yes, I will use sound clips every now and then, but it's not going to be the majority of my content. With that in mind, getting that off my chest, here we go. Republicans block Democrats' effort to subpoena Musk. What else is new? House Oversight Democrats tried to move to subpoena Elon Musk to be a witness and testify about his Department of Government Efficiency. The Gestapo. But they were blocked by Republicans in an ongoing committee hearing. Now, the effort was expected to fail, given the Republicans control that committee, but it's the latest example of Democrats trying to lose a little bit of energy and power to push back. The vote failed by one vote, signaling how tight the margins are. A very noble attempt, but nothing is going to happen until the Republicans step up and do something. Do you know how Trump arrived at his stunning idea to take over the Gaza Strip? Well, Trump administration officials are hurrying to catch up to the president's audacious and improbable plan for the United States to take ownership of Gaza and redevelop it into a Middle Eastern Riviera, according to Donald. Trying to wrap their heads around an idea that some hope might be so outlandish it forces other nations to step in with their own proposals for the Palestinian enclave. President Donald Trump's idea, announced Tuesday evening at a joint news conference with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, was formulated over time. People familiar with the matter said, and appeared to originate with the president himself. It was only the latest reminder that policy ideas often start with Trump rather than slowly build through national experts before ultimately reaching the Oval Office for discussion. More lunatic ideas from Donald's delusional mindset. I wish, and I'm sure a lot of you wish, that he would just shut up, keep his thoughts to himself. But of course, that's not going to happen, is it? World leaders, of course, slam Trump's Gaza plan after the president announced that he would take over Gaza. Condemnation was swift from officials in the Middle East and Europe. Trump's comments break with decades of U.S. foreign policy. Arab nations have rejected any suggestions to displace Palestinians from Gaza. And you know why? To put it in simplistic form, because it's stupid that you're going to try to dislocate 2 million Palestinians. How are you going to move them, Donald? truckloads of buses, RVs, planes. Very asinine plan. But more importantly, very wrong plan. The damage that this does to the Palestinians, families, people, whether you like the situation or not, is wrong. Life in the real world, Donald, doesn't work this way, only in your brain. Top Justice Department official accuses the FBI leadership of insubordination over January 6th inquiry. The acting Deputy Attorney General accused FBI leadership of insubordination by refusing to identify a core team of Bureau employees who worked on January 6th investigations while trying to assure that the rank and file agents who simply, followed orders will not be fired unless they acted with corrupt or partisan intent, according to a copy of a memo obtained by CNN. The memo emailed on Wednesday from Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove is the first time that the Justice Department has indicated that the thousands of agents who worked on January 6th related investigations will not be fired en masse. However, Bove does not rule out that some could still face consequences, including termination or other penalties. The only individuals who should be concerned about the process initiated by my January 31st, 2025 memo are those who acted with corrupt or partisan intent, who blatantly defied orders from department leadership, or who exercised discretion in weaponizing the FBI, Bove added. The Bureau handed over the details of more than 5,000 FBI agents and employees who worked on investigations related to the January 6, 2021 U.S. Capitol riot. CNN reported this week. Those details, get this everyone, included employee ID numbers, job titles, and their role in the January 6th investigations. Not their names. Ooh, wow. Thank God for one small thing. Violation of privacy, putting these agents in danger is irresponsible. And very scary to see that 5,000 agents' records and details were handed over that easily. Attorney General Pam Bondi plans review of cases brought by New York prosecutors against Trump. Attorney General Bondi is expected to order a review of the cases, including those undertaken by prosecutors in New York who successfully defeated him in court. Sworn in at the White House on Wednesday, Bondi intends to issue a series of memos aimed at curbing the so-called weaponization of the Justice Department. Great phrase, right? Weaponization. That's Donald and his minions. A source familiar told about her plans. She will order the review of criminal and civil cases against Trump, including the 2 federal cases brought by the Biden Justice Department, and issue a warning to employees that serving their own personal politics as opposed to the Trump administration would be punished. Yep, everyone, there's no retribution here coming from Donald, is there? Am I misreading this? It's obvious and transparent what the goals of Donald's administration will be. Dismantle, destroy, go after people, ruin their lives, and in the process have some time to destroy our country while he's doing all of that. Argentina says it will pull out of the World Health Organization, mirroring Trump's move last month. President Milei instructed Foreign Minister Warthain to withdraw from Argentina's participation in the World Health Organization. Presidential spokesperson said at a news conference on Wednesday, "We Argentinians will not allow an international organization to intervene in our sovereignty, much less in our health," he added. Statement later released from Argentina's presidential office accused the World Health Organization of causing economic damage during the COVID-19 pandemic by promoting endless quarantines. It's so nice to know where the president of Argentina stands. Oh, that's right. He stands with the wannabe dictator. He agrees with this latest lunatic decision from Donald, the delusional one. The theft of approximately 100,000 eggs from the back of a distribution trailer in central Pennsylvania is under investigation. Authorities say as the grocery staple has become scarce in some areas due to an avian flu outbreak. Prices are reaching near record highs. The eggs were worth an estimated $40,000, were stolen from egg producers Pete and Jerry's Organics in Greencastle Saturday night, according to a report from Pennsylvania State Police. That's one hell of a giant omelet this thief is going to make. Now, the egg industry has faced considerable challenges in recent months with the resurgence of an avian flu outbreak that has killed millions of egg-laying hens. Nearly half of all the birds killed by the virus in 2024 were egg-laying hen deaths that occurred in November-December, according to the USDA. Now, the national average price of eggs was a hot-button issue in the lead-up to the U.S. presidential election in November, and consumers and restaurants continue to feel the pinch of higher prices with a shortened supply. And in regards to those high egg prices Donald promised to bring down, Waffle House is placing a 50-cent surcharge on each egg in the restaurant in a meal that's purchased. Wow. It just gets crazier and crazier. Originally accepting incoming international parcels from China and Hong Kong were blocked by the Postal Service. It was a crackdown, a sort of damage attack on China and Hong Kong from Trump's administration. And this affected companies like Temu. Some of you, the listeners, may have purchased from Temu. Anything under $800 or less purchased from them was not charged any additional shipping fees, which made Temu and other companies like themselves popular. Well, the U.S. Postal Service on Wednesday morning announced it will continue accepting incoming international parcels from China and Hong Kong after saying late Tuesday night that it would suspend them. Although no reason was given for the initial suspension of package deliveries from China, the Postal Service suggested Wednesday it was related to broad-based new tariffs imposed Tuesday and elimination of the de minimis exemption. Wonder why the change of heart? Could it be that was stupid to do and wrong again from Donald to do this and everyone bitched about it possibly? Nah, I'm probably wrong about that. Donald Musk and Elon Trump, co-presidents of our country, are moving to smother these three pieces of the government. Donald Trump ran his presidential campaign promising to abolish entire federal agencies and departments. But it's not so easy for a president to simply end an organization that was crafted and funded each year by Congress, which is supposed to be the president's equal. Equal, and everyone, can we say that out loud? Equal, not according to Donald. So the president's and his allies, led by the other president, Elon, have found a different way to achieve many of the same goals. Put agencies long targeted by Republicans into a coma by sidelining their workforce, halting their operations, launching a review of their activity. Then maybe ask Congress to kill them outright. A full frontal assault on these agencies. Now, the list of government agencies on life support or targeted for direct attack after 2 weeks of Trump 2.0 looks like this. Some of you may know about this, others may not. So let me share a fairly full list of what agencies are in trouble. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. CFPB was set up by Congress after the Great Recession to protect consumers from financial abuses. And the agency has long drawn the ire of Republicans. All of its work has been halted, and the director, Chopra, was fired this past weekend before the end of his 5-year term. The acting head of the agency, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, ordered a review of agency policy to guarantee consistency with Donald's administration. You already know about this when USAID, the United States Agency for International Development, talked about that last episode if you want to find out more. A freeze on most foreign aid while Trump's administration reviews the agency has caused a worldwide ripple effect among nonprofits and aid organizations and sparked fear that the U.S. is completely retreating from its leadership position in international development. Musk called the agency evil, and Trump said it's run by the radical left. The Department of Education, in existence since the 1800s, but elevated by Congress as its own agency in 1979, the Department of Education is Trump's next target. CNN reported that an executive order is being drafted ordering the incoming secretary, Linda McMahon, you know who Linda is, she ran WWE Wrestling. She is yet to get a Senate confirmation vote. She's going to begin to diminish the department through executive action. I told Linda, I hope you do a great job in putting yourself out of a job. I want her to put herself out of a job as leader of the education department. Trump told reporters on Tuesday. Think about this. She's made the secretary, will soon be confirmed to be the secretary of the education department, and he wants the education department to be closed where she's no longer in charge. In a steel cage match, we have Linda and Donald against the education department. No holds barred WWE Friday night fights. A narrowly divided Congress likely won't consent to abolishing the department, but McMahon, who led the Small Business Administration during Trump's first term, made her wealth, as I said, founder of WWE World Wrestling, may well succeed in severely diminishing its functions and her own job. It was also reported Tuesday that Trump's administration could be planning to lay off a large number of federal workers from across the federal government who don't take a legally dubious buyout offer by Thursday, part of potential coming reduction in force. Fears of those potential firings, along with the threat of moving agencies to different locations and a requirement to work in the office 5 days per week, regardless of collective bargaining agreements, are also being used by the administration to pressure federal workers to take the buyout offer. A judge ruled today some of the firings or layoffs are to be on hold for now. Thank God for the courts. A second federal judge on Wednesday blocked President Donald Trump's executive order that seeks to end birthright citizenship, saying it's likely unconstitutional, runs counter to our nation's 250-year history of citizenship by birth. The nationwide preliminary injunction from U.S. District Judge Deborah Boardman is a significant ruling against Trump's Day One order, which was swiftly met with legal challenges and put on hold days later by a separate judge. Rule of law, established norms. Donald doesn't give a crap, everyone. We all see that. He's just going to push things until hopefully the courts say, nah, I don't think so, Donald. Since the Republicans are doing jack squat about Donald, we have, like I said, only the courts to hopefully now stop Donald and these destructive policies. Hey, the Democrats finally stood up and took some action against the Republicans and Donald Trump with all the ridiculous executive orders. More than 1,000 protesters gathered outside the Department of Treasury building in downtown Washington this past Tuesday evening. Senator Chuck Schumer was there, and he inspired the crowd protesting with the following moments. I'm going to try to recreate it as best as possible. Please understand if I get emotional, and if I don't do as good a job as Chuck did, please cut me some slack. Let me paint the scene. Chuck Schumer standing in front of the 1,000 protesters, and Chuck yells with all the energy and inspiration you would want, "We will win! We will win! We won't rest! We won't rest!" Okay, there you go. I'm excited. I'm ready to take action. How about you, everyone, the listeners? And of course, I'm being sarcastic. I'm a Democrat. I will always support the Democrats. However, when something comes across like this and is that lame, I will call it out. Chuck, Schumer, come on, man. Even the newscasters on CNN were laughing at what you were doing. We will win. We won't rest. Jumping around and singing a silly chant like that is not going to turn the tide with all the BS, dangerous policies that Trump, the delusional one, is offering. We need real leaders, real action, people who suck up their courage and sound the alarm and take charge against co-presidents Donald Musk and Elon Trump. Someone with concrete plans and actions, not, we will win, we won't rest. That doesn't cut it. If this is the best our side has to offer, we are in deep trouble. and we will continue to look like the laughing stock of the world. And one of the last items I wanted to bring to your attention, Time magazine released their new magazine cover, and it shows Elon Musk sitting behind the resolute desk in the White House. Donald Trump was asked his opinion about that from a reporter, and in the video, you go look at it online, you can clearly see on his face, he's not happy about it. Everyone needs to keep pushing on Donald's fragile ego about Elon being in charge. Also, a veteran House Democrat is introducing new legislation to respond to billionaire Trump's ally Elon Musk's overhaul of the federal government. Representative Mark Pocan, Democrat, Wisconsin, on Wednesday rolled out the eliminating looting of our nation by mitigating unethical state kleptocracy. In other words, Elon Musk. It's called the Elon Musk Act, which would ban special government employees like Musk from having federal contracts. No government employee, special or not, should have any financial interest in who the government does business with, Pocan said. Elon Musk is the poster child for this type of potential abuse. After more than $20 billion in federal contracts, there's no way Musk can be objective in what he's doing. Musk holds major federal contracts through his companies, including SpaceX and Starlink. The Elon Musk Act by Representative Mark Pocan from Wisconsin. Look, this is a nice idea. Let's not kid ourselves. The Republicans will probably stop this bill, not even allow it to come to the floor for any debate, let alone a vote. Democrats are making some kind of effort to finally get together to do something about all this garbage. But there's no power from the Democrats. There's no white knight on a white horse coming to save our democracy. The Republicans, repeat, the Republicans, the other side of the aisle, need to step up, show a backbone against Donald, and there's no evidence of that happening anytime soon. We could introduce bills. We could have protests. That's all nice. But until action is taken by some gutsy Republicans, like Adam Kinzinger and you know who, Liz Cheney, our country is owned lock, stock, and barrel by Donald, Elon, and Putin. And if you disagree with me, great. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me to go to hell. But I'm not. You know it deep down. We need a few brave souls from the other side of the aisle to stand up. If you disagree with me, send your comments to wolfpacklistener@gmail.com. Wolfpacklistener. Don't forget also to hit subscribe, like and rate and comment on Apple or Spotify. Or if you care enough to actually use the toll-free voicemail box system, it's free. 833-399-9653. Come on, shy people. Someone has to be brave enough to give their opinions. I'll be back in 2 days. This is A World Gone Mad. I'm Jeff Allen Wolf, sitting in a room and talking to myself. Stay hopeful.
There is chaos in the world. Can't you see?